those 10 commandments in the Cockerell canteen, and then I started exploring. Take it from me, I had not read those 10 commandments coming from the sect. And then I just explored what those 10 commandments are for inspiring you to be a fine human being, a fine social person, a fine citizen of the world. Let's not talk just a citizen of the country, not just a citizen of the society. These were the 10 commandments which were given from the Bible, and more or less, if somebody practices these 10 commandments, the society is really going to be a fine place to live. The earth is going to be a more finer place where we can survive our best of the days. Having said that, I drew inspiration from our own past president of the country, Bharat Ratna Sri APJ Abdul Kalam, whom I had the opportunity of meeting during the first few days of this year in Ahmedabad. We were for a meeting, and I was fortunate enough to share a dais under the banner of American Association of Physicians of India origin in Ahmedabad. And since I had interacted with him during those days, it was impacting my life, my thought process all the time. A simple man, a visionary, a real thinking man who gave his best to the country, and we are proud of him. So taking this, I had just proposed the topic to be 10 commandments for a surgeon. The first commandment comes that the surgeon should be having a personal probity. He should be a personal probity conscious and the arbiter. I am taking the words right from those Cockerell Canteen board and trying to translate it for a communication with my friends here in the hall. I went to the words were very tough. I went to the Oxford Dictionary and tried to find whether they fit in our own profession, our own life. And Oxford Dictionary says, what is a probity? And the probity is given there as moral excellence. Very much true for us. It holds for integrity, which is very, very essential for all of us in our profession. It holds for uprightness, another essential component we must have. It holds for consciousness, and that's why they had written probity conscious one should be. And the surgeon should always be probity conscious. It holds for honesty and it holds for sincerity. I think all these components are very, very essential part of a surgeon's personality anywhere on the earth. And that's why this should be the first commandment, that we should have a personal probity conscious personality and the arbiter. The second commandment which was written there, and I bring before you, friends, was the operative readiness. Who will deny that? We have already heard the previous talk where we were needed to be physically and psychologically ready to help the patient, to salvage the patient from nowhere, and we have succeeded times without number. In our own lifetime situation, if we analyze our own life as a surgeon, we will find that yes, it was only the operative readiness, the willingness which brought us the result. And we need to have this character imbibed, character inbuilt on all of us. We have only succeeded because of this. See, a wartime situation, if supposingly little bit of callousness comes here, the person who is challenged, who is physically down, will never be able to come up. So it is always operative readiness which is needed to be there. See, the third commandment there appeared was professional competence, individual as well as collective. Because surgery is a teamwork, we all know, and we need that we show our competence every time we go in, every time we lead the team. I was just trying to correlate that if we have a good communication and interpersonal skill, a collaboration of the teamwork which we are binding together, we are the force. the management, absolutely, this has never been taught in the medical colleges till yet, but now things are changing, and we will be needing a course on the management in our medical school curriculum as well. And let's see if the transformation of the medical council's proposed ideas goes in real practice, then management's few classes will definitely be added. We need, obviously, scholarship is there to be there, and professionalism and clinical skills. All these together will deliver it is all related to the patients, and it will deliver the patient's safety and quality of the patient care, enhance the quality of the patient care. The fourth commandment was that you have to command with your head. Probably, while you are commanding your team, while you are commanding, we all have been commanding our team for a successful outcome in the surgery, critical battlefield situation, we need to command with our head, and it is true for us as well. We have to lead with our heart. Our heart has to be an essential component while we are leading. We do not have to leave our feelings, our heart. Obviously, still we have to command with our head. And I could find that if it comes to the leading with your heart, this is a brilliant example we need to draw examples from in our lives. Mother Teresa, who has been a benevolent champion of leading with her heart. The leadership and be an example. See, you have to be influencing the decision. You have to see that your team moves with you together. You have to see that a communication is absolutely marvelously done, laterally as well as vertically. You have to take your decisions. You have to see the perfect management, and contributions have to be absolutely excellent. You have to have a vision before you embark on all these. You have to be bound by your ethics values most. These days, the society is looking towards us, and a question of ethics is really very, very important for all the medical professionals, more so particularly for the surgeons. And we have to have motivation. See, with this and the responsibilities, a crossword of leadership is before you, and all these ingredients are very, very important. Unless until this was ingrained in Professor Balakrishna Rao, he would not have served rising from Mysore, Karnataka to go to the Gwalior Medical College. I met Dr. Tiwari while I was coming up, and Dr. Tiwari, I knew that, and Dr. Tiwari said that he has been taught by Professor Balakrishna Rao. So Professor Balakrishna Rao must be very happy this afternoon while the oration is being delivered, and Dr. Tiwari is a witness to this oration. So I said that this leadership qualities must have been a chief ingredient in his personality, and we need to copy his personality in our life more and more. Above all, on a global survey, we had found that the competence of the surgeon or the competence of the leadership accounted for only 5%. And look at the table, look at the bar chart, and it was the vision. So leader has to be visionary. All the surgeons have to be visionary. Unless until we put our vision before us for our own situation, for our life situation, for our family situation, and for the situation of our group and the society, we will not be succeeding. So the vision has to be an essential component, followed by all the teamwork, communication, and the charisma, which is another essential component. We have to be concerned by the welfare, for the care and compassion, and this person comes to my mind when the quality of care beyond self goes in the practice. Unless until he would have cared for others, he would not have been the freshest from the farm, the Nobel laureate for all of us to have a pride. Compassion, in any case, is an essential part and parcel of our own profession, and it needs to be engraved, thoroughbred in our personality. Moderation in the way of life, because we all are surrounded and challenged by a lot of challenges on the way of life. But I humbly put before you that it is always the moderation in life which is going to be lengthy which is going to stay with you, which is going to be rewarding, which is going to be followed by everyone around you, because everyone in society looks towards you as a leader, as a challenge, as a performer. And to me came the picture of Desh Ratna, our first president, Babu Dr. Rajendra Prasad. His watch is on the right side. He all the time had a simple watch of this kind with him, although being the first president of our beloved country. Having said that, I have experienced in my lifetime, and you also must have, and you will agree with me more than many times, that you have to temper your minds with sounds of silence. All the time going in the activities does not help. You can't organize your thoughts. So you have to temper your mind with sounds of silence. And because it is aptly said, silence speaks when the words can't. Finally, you have to reflect, you have to introspect, and one should contemplate. To be a fine personality, to be a fine human being, to be a fine surgeon. So it is not only the profession, and it is we all have gathered our skill, but if we ingrain all these 10 aspects, dimensions in our personality, we are going to be very, very productive to our family, to the society, and to the humanity. So, having said that, I had read somewhere, and you also agree, that doctors are supposed to be the philosophers to the society. Why? A Plato's picture I brought for your notice. Why? Because whatever we will say, the patient take it as a word of wisdom. They never challenge it. They hardly challenge it, even in this present day materialistic world. They hardly challenge our words. They take it. No, our doctor Sahab has said that we should take the tablets with cold water. They will not question. They will just follow. In our scenario particularly. And so that's why we have to rise up to the level of being the philosophers to the society. Friends, we need to continually and regularly look into our own path, whether we have not diverted from the path we have chosen and from path our society gave us an opportunity, because one performance pressure I always feel, and I want to share with you this afternoon. I always feel that probably when I competed and qualified, the person behind me might have been more productive to the society. And if he would have been more productive, I need to challenge myself and prove more productive every day. Once you begin to change, so will the world around you. And be a very, very positive thinker. Don't look to the shadows. Look to the source of light. Don't look to the obstacles. Look that there is another opportunity beyond the obstacles. अंत में मेरे और मेरी पत्नी की तरफ से जो इस हॉल में बैठी हैं, आप सब लोगों को बीत गया जो साल उसे भूल जाएं, इस नए साल को, आने वाले साल को गले लगाएं और करते हैं दुआ हम रब से सर झुका के, इस साल आपके सारे वो अरमान पूरे हो जाएं, सारे वो सपने पूरे हो जाएं। 9 वर्ष की हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं टू यू एंड योर फैमिली। 2015 should bring laurels. I thank the organization, the organizing committee, the headquarters, the president, his team, having bestowed this kindness of giving me this opportunity of sharing some non-technical thoughts of my life with you. I also thank the chairpersons, all of whom are exemplary in their deeds, that they could bear these few minutes when I was talking and the flow of thoughts must have been going through their mind. And ultimately, I thank the Almighty who has given me an opportunity to be an essential part of this association, and my friends who adore me so much. Thank you, everyone.